Okay, so this little video is a cautionary tale to see if we're trading in trucking on a false economy. Okay, hope you like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Thanks for watching. Good evening, Monday the 26th of April, and I am in Green River, Wyoming. I've had quite a few positive comments in my old videos that I've been putting out lately. That it's quite encouraging, and my subscriber count has gone up and up and up. So if you haven't subscribed, that would be great if you did that, help that climb a little bit. But during this period that I've been looking at new trucks, and I've decided to go with the older ones. There's been a few things that have made me go with that decision. There's kind of one underlying thing that's stopping me from going down the road of new vehicles, and that is I'd never survived the depression of the 30s because I wasn't here. But you ever notice that people who did survive the depression, they're always quite frugal because they know what it's like to have nothing. And whenever you go through a horrific experience like that, you learn something from it. And I see people here now, the rates are high, pretty good rates, but people are jumping in there and keeping going and adding and adding and adding, thinking that the bubble never bursts. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm quite enthusiastic and I'm quite willing to have a go, and I'll jump in, get it done, then wonder how you manage to do it. The start of next year I think could be a little bit of a challenge for trucking. There's a lot of money being borrowed by governments. There's a lot of money being spent on medications for the thing, and all the stimulus packages and everything that's going on. That money has to come from somewhere eventually. You know, if you keep printing money, your currency gets devalued and things can go wrong. So, in going likening things in the depression to what happened in 07, 08, I lived through that and I became a victim of that. I thought, it wasn't a bad thought, I thought it was Superman or anything like that. The 07, 08 crash, when it happened, it was quite a horrific experience for me. At the time had been running a coach company with maybe 15 or 18 coaches up and down, coaches and minibuses, doing schools, private hires, weddings, concerts, all that stuff. And then in 05 I bought a thing. I've always dabbled with taxis and stuff at home, and then in 05 I bought a brand new one, and then a taxi, and then in 06, and things were good, 06 I bought a local competitor went bust and left a massive hole, and people were coming 50, 60 miles away to take kids, handicapped kids, to school locally at home. And I thought I would capitalise on that, and I bid on everything, and I got it. And at the time I was in good favour with one of the finance companies that we dealt with, and he said he would back us up to, I think it was $500,000 on the coaches and $250,000 in the taxis. So we went for it, and the taxis worked out great. 3-year contracts. I can't remember how many I bought. I think I bought enough of them that they brought a car transporter to deliver them to my yard, and we bought double-decker coaches and that all worked out, and it kept working out, and I knew it wouldn't last, and so I diversified into a used car lot in Scotland, and we tried that, and that was okay at the very first. And then as soon as, and when things are going good, like at a roulette table, you know, there's a bit more planning involved in running a business, but you know, when you're winning at the roulette and then you let it ride and you let it ride and you let it ride, if you get that feeling about you that things are just going to keep on going, it's going to be good all the time, and you're almost invincible, you know, you get to a certain stage. Well, all of a sudden when the banks crashed, the knock-on effect that had for me was that quite a few of the companies that I had been doing work for, a lot of rail replacement work, when the trains are off, our coaches were going at the weekend. So that work, that customer that I was working for, they just overnight said, hey, we're done, see ya. They owed us over 100 grand, and that was just a lot of money at the time for us to swallow, not having it. But that wasn't the bad part. Although as bad as that was, we juggled things round about, but we lost that work every weekend. Therefore we had all these vehicles, these really nice vehicles for doing this kind of high-end coach work. It was age restricted and had to be a certain type of condition of vehicle. It would be like buying brand new trucks to run coast to coast, and then you end up doing local farm work with them, you know, so they were too expensive for what they were. And what happened after that is that when you go to try and get rid of these vehicles, you couldn't sell them because anybody that wanted them couldn't get the money for them because the banks were done. The banks had no money. So repossession started happening, and so if you're trying to sell a vehicle and somebody come and looked at it in your yard and they would think, yep, it's what I want, they would go to the finance company who had probably repossessed half a dozen just the same as what you're selling, and they're trying to get their assets liquidated, you know, these repossessions they're taking in. So they would go to the finance company to borrow money for it, and they couldn't borrow it. And then the finance company would put in the little sweetener and say, however, you need to come up with 25% deposit if you want to buy his bus. But if you come with us, we've got one just like it, a year newer, and just give us the first payment and take it away. A lot of that happened. So the asset values also, when I keep going on about supply and demand, when there was no demand for the vehicles, the price falls to the floor. You just need to look at the used coach market in the UK right now. I would hate to have owned 20 or 30 coaches and had heavily invested in a fleet of newer vehicles 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because they're on your books, and you know, most coach companies, I'm guessing now, will not pay tax for a long, long time because they'll have so many losses when they write down their asset values in their books, because they have fallen, they have plummeted. Some vehicles are out there that will be 100,000 less than what they were a year ago. You know, so it's on. You can see it online on the used coach market. So right now, I'm not going to get caught out in that same scenario. When things are going good, and it's great to expand, and it's great to, you know, go after it and create something. But I think this year, as it goes on, what I want to do is consolidate a bit. That's just not what I do, you know. But this time, I'm thinking that I want to get some of my trucks paid down. I want to get some of my debts paid off. I think we'll ride. I think the crest of the wave after the world pandemic has finished, and there's stimulus money there. This is my prediction, and I hate to be the pessimist because I'm always saying to other people, there's never a good time to start trucking. When it's super good and the rates are great, the prices of the trucks are too high. When the prices of the trucks are good, the rates are too low. So, you know, there's never a perfect storm to get into trucking. But I've seen it before where the rates are really low and the fuel's really high, and I don't want to get caught with that. I've seen it twice, and it's terrible. So the crest of the wave, everybody's got, well, not everybody, most people get stimulus money or furlough, and things are opening up and people are spending, and there's a bit of a surge in the economy. And then when the summers, they might get some summer vacation stuff and the good feel about the summer. This is to do with trucking. The feel good factor in the summer, and then we've got harvest time with the reefers, and then we've got Thanksgiving, and then we've got Christmas, and then when a lot of people take quite a bit of time off at Christmas, and so there's a little shortage of trucks, and it takes till maybe the middle of January to catch up, maybe even towards the end. But I have serious concerns about when the dip comes. It usually comes every year, January, February, March, dips down, and I seriously hope I'm wrong with this. I don't know how quickly it'll bounce back up. You know, last year we had just before, right about this time, or right before it, if I look back in my videos, there was when the pandemic thing started, there was a lot of panic buying and everybody was buying stuff, and there was, you know, they took the logbook restrictions off and let us run. This year, people have got money because there's been stimulus checks sent out to everybody. So my plan is to try and consolidate as much as I can. You know, when it comes that time next year, I want to have trucks paid off, I want to have trailers paid off, I want to have my insurance deposits all sitting there ready, I want to have my personal debt and business debts that I've incurred to get this set up. I want all that paid off before Christmas comes, because and have some cash behind me, because I don't want to get caught in a down market with expensive equipment. It's extremely unpleasant. I can't tell you what it's like. You know, basically when your asset value falls, if you bought something for 100,000 and then they put the interest on, they do that at home. I don't know if they do it here actually, but they add the interest on the front, so you might then owe 130 on it, and then when there's no demand for the vehicles, you might get 70 for it. So you're so far upside down in it. If you can't really sell it, because if you sell it, every month you might have to go pay 1,500 towards that vehicle. If you sell it and there's a 20,000 shortfall on it, all of a sudden that 20 grand comes due. So it's just a rotten spot to be in, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that way. It's just, maybe I've got a phobia or traumatised by it the last time, but it just sucks to have that down market, that downturn. You've got too much stuff. I was talking to my son that does the videos on this, and he thinks it's a good time to liquidate your assets, because, and I had a friend that was quite a good investor at home, and he told me the people who really make money in a recession or a depression are people with cash on the hip. You know, if you've got resources, unless the banks fail, it's all gone. But you know, if you've got something that you can liquidate and have cash, you know, is this the time to do it? Where you can be sitting there. I wished I had a whack of cash during this thing that was going on there, because I would have bought shares, you know, and I bought some and they went up in value. They tripled in value. I didn't buy enough of them. If I managed to have the cash sitting there to do it, but I always find myself in a spot where I'm the guy that's got the expensive equipment, too much debt, and then the market goes down the way. It's no fun. Don't want to do it. Not going to do it. So pay the trucks off, get them up to good standard to run with, and have the older vehicles, and then you're not as exposed to the market trends and the prices of fuel and the insurance prices. You know, if your equipment's paid or most of it's paid, I wouldn't mind having 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 vehicles on a bit of finance, no massive finance, but something like that, so that you're not as vulnerable to the downturns in the old economy. So that's what I'm thinking. Just a thought, you know. So if anybody's out there now and, you know, chasing dreams and buying lots of vehicles and spending 175,000 in each of them, I've thought hard about it, and I'm a gambler. I'm a chance that I'll have a go. I don't want to do it. I just don't know how long this bubble's going to last before it has a pop, and it's very unlike me to be pessimistic. It's not pessimistic. I think it's being a realist and thinking, right, for making some money now. I've had a terrible. April's been the worst month we've had since we started, with breakdowns and vehicles off the road and stuff. So I just want to consolidate this year and put myself into a good position just in case next year comes along and it's a little bit of a dip. I hope it's not. I hope it continues to keep going well and we all continue to be prospering. So, but if you have never been in a position where you've been sitting with assets that are worth way too more than what you can get, worth way less than what you have actually own on them, it's not good. So be careful what you do out there. Alright, thanks for watching the videos. Please subscribe. Thanks again. See ya.